Welcome back. It's day 5 of my Anubias Stardust unboxing. I waited a few days after opening the Anubias. In the last video, I had divided one of the Anubias as I saw that there was Anubias rot that was starting on one of the heads of the plants. So I came to inspect the Anubias after a few days just to make sure everything was okay. And basically, the first two Anubias were fine. But when I got to the third Anubias, the head of the Anubias is also starting to rot. So you can see right here that the leaf just falls right off. That's not normal. And I take a executive decision basically to try to save this Anubias. So I have to cut off the head of the plant, and hopefully the tail end will survive. Quite disappointed at this moment, as you can understand that this is quite a rare Anubias and quite expensive as well. So I'm able to separate the head of the Anubias, and I'm just inspecting the tail end just to see if there's any other rotting that is occurring on the tail end. From my experience, any rot that happens during transport has primarily started at the head of the plant and not the tail. So right now, I just want to make sure that everything else is looking okay. Definitely the head of the Anubias really doesn't look good at this moment. We'll see whether I could save it. From experience, you have to be quite aggressive when you see the Anubias rot to be able to divide the section that has a rot, and hopefully we'll be able to save the tail end. Now we'll get to the Anubias that I had separated a couple days ago, and also I see that the head portion of the Anubias is also rotting. Basically, what had happened was that there was a fork in the rhizome, so there were two heads of this Anubias plant. So I had cut off one hoping that the other was okay. However, I guess both heads ended up rotting. So I aggressively cut the other head of the Nubius so that I could hopefully save the tail end. The tail end actually has a couple of sprouts that are starting to push out. So we'll see if we can save that. As we inspect the other potted Anubias, again I see that the head of the Anubias is rotting. So yeah, even more disappointed at this moment. I aggressively divide the tail end from the head of the Anubias. So yeah, right now it's really not looking good. I have at least three heads that are rotting. So that is definitely not something that's good. I mean, my wife had asked me whether I could contact the seller. They do have a 120% live arrival guarantee. However, that extends only 4 hours from receiving the plant, and it's been quite a few days, so I'm not sure if they will honor anything. Going to the next plant. On this plant, everything seems good, so we'll put that on the side and hopefully it stays that way. Going to the next plant, just as alarmed as in the previous plants, rotting leaf, which is really not a good sign. The leaf comes right off. It's really not a good sign at this moment. So what this would be the third or fourth Anubias that I potentially might be losing, or at least the head portion. And I'm just trying to see if it's soft or not. Like I said, it's been 5 days since I received these Anubias, and I haven't done much to them except for put them in the tote that has all of my other Anubias. And right now, I'm kind of even more disappointed at this current situation. For this one, there's not much I could do. The rhizome isn't really that long. There's no tail end, so I'm just going to see if I could dry it out and see whether I could save the plant. For the last plant, same thing as before. The head of the Anubias is soft and yeah, really not looking good. So I'm going to aggressively cut the head portion off and hopefully save the tail end. Yeah, so we go from originally 8 Anubias rhizomes with decent growth to about 4 or 5 tail ends. So we'll see in the next few weeks what happens to the plants. I'll keep you guys updated, but yeah, we definitely don't have a good feeling right now. So looking at the piece of rhizome that we tried to save a few days ago, it's completely dead. There's no coming back from this. It's mushy. Basically, the new leaf had melted as well as the rest of the rhizome. So there's no coming back from that. So basically, my plan now is to take the sections that I've separated and I'm going to try to plant them all in soil. So the idea is to actually dry out the rhizome itself. When something's wet, the likelihood of rotting actually accelerates. However, my goal is to try to get it as dry as possible so that the rotting slows down and potentially able to save some of the sections that might still be alive. Yeah, I'm quite disappointed at this moment. There's not much else I could do. A lot of dying leaves, a lot of disappointment. However, I think that some of it might survive. We'll keep an eye on that. For this plantlet, I saw a side shoot, so I'm trying to cut off the side shoot and separate it from the rotting part of the rhizome. So I'm hopefully going to be able to save this. We'll see whether the rot has actually infiltrated this section of rhizome. Not too hopeful, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. So in the end, what I end up having is from the original three rhizomes, I still have two heads and one tail. So that pot seems to be doing better than the other one that had five rhizomes. So I'm going to keep an eye on these plants over the next few days before I do anything drastic. And this pot would be the one that had five rhizomes. Now I'm down to four rhizomes and mainly tail ends. I might have had one that had a surviving head, but we'll see. If it gets worse, I'm just going to plant everything in soil and dry everything out as much as I can while allowing the plant to hopefully recover from the transport. So that's the update I have for you. I'm quite disappointed. However, I don't think there's much I could do at this moment except for watching it day by day to see if there's any improvements or signs of new growth. Basically, any positive sign would be signs of new growth. I'm going to keep you posted for the next few days and hopefully things turn around. Thank you for tuning in. I will get back to you guys in a couple days.